Oh, hey, what's happening there, YouTube? It's Brian House here for Housework, and today we are in the new workshop and studio. Yes, 3 months ago I was in my old workshop, and now I'm here. So a lot has changed in the last 3 months, and if you want to keep up with what I'm doing in here on the regular, every single day I upload content to Instagram. Go over to Instagram, follow me there. You can find my handle. It's housemade.us. It's the same as my website. So if you type that into Instagram, or I'm going to put a link down in the description so you can go find me there. Every single day I upload videos, small little 1-minute things that I kind of show what I'm up to in here. It's really important for me to be able to continue working and create content, and Instagram is the perfect place to do that. YouTube, I like to make these videos a little bit more polished because I enjoy the process of making these polished videos for you guys. Speaking of you guys, the reason all of this is possible, the Revolution project, the flagship product that we sell here at Housemade Industrial, is our 2x72 industrial belt grinder that you build. It has gone gangbusters. It has transformed my life. And in the last 6 months, I've sold my other business, my computer repair shop. I've sold that. It's gone. Now I just do this really full time. YouTube, content creation on Instagram and Facebook, and also obviously selling kits for the Revolution project. This year has been an enormous year for me as far as change goes, and the ultimate catalyst for that change is you. You have supported every single thing I've done here on YouTube by watching my videos, going to my website, buying pieces, parts, and plans for the Revolution 2x72 belt grinder project. And I could not do it without you. So thank you so very much for changing my life. Every single day I think about this. And honestly, it was a hard sort of change in my mind. Like, I started thinking about, like, how am I going to introduce this new workshop to everybody? And like, I started bringing you along on Instagram, and a lot of you have kind of gone over there. But I know there's some of you who just stick around on YouTube, and that's cool too. So now that the process is fairly done, setting up this new space, I am going to be starting creating content more on the regular now for YouTube and get that all up and running. In fact, this camera that I'm filming this on, the batteries weren't even charged for like 3 months because I just did not have time. So anyway, we'll do a proper shop tour when this place is really fully set up. It's functional. It's like a functional mess right now, but it's really not kind of worthy for a tour. So, however, today's project, the big thing that I need to accomplish is I need a rolling workbench. I'm going to use I'm going to use the old tabletop from the Ultimate workbench that I built in my old studio. That thing was a behemoth. I scrapped it. I got rid of it. It didn't roll. You know my thing in cast. Everything should roll. And I didn't like the way the shelves were built. There's a lot of problems with that design. It was kind of off the cuff, and I really wish I would have spent more time designing that because I think it's be here right now. But anyway, what we're going to do today is we're going to build a rolling workbench, and this rolling workbench is going to serve kind of as the centerpiece for all of my projects in here. We're going to use that big old piece of tabletop that we got from Home Depot. It's 10 feet long by 25 inches deep. And then we're going to build a custom stand for it that's on casters, and we're going to put a couple of really cool little features on it that will assist me in my making process, and also shipping, receiving, a whole bunch of other things. So anyway, guys, I truly appreciate you following along. Let's get started with the build right here at Housework. I'm actually thinking about changing the name of the channel to Housemade, since everything should be kind of branded the same. Let me know down in the comments what you think. All right, if you think that you would watch this channel, even if it was called Housemade, which makes most sense to me, let me know about that. Otherwise, we'll keep it as Housework. We'll see. So anyway, let's get started. I think I got to say this, right? Screw it. Let's do it. Okay, so the first step of this process is we're going to focus on the steel base of the table. It's going to be made out of 2x2 tube steel. This is 11 gauge, which is about 0.12. So if you want to equate that to, say, 1/8 of an inch or so thick wall, just under that actually. It's got mill scale on it. I don't really care. This is a workbench, so it's probably going to get painted at some point. What I'm going to do is I set up the Evolution chop saw. I get a lot of questions about this saw. It was a little bit of an investment, I think like $400 or $450 on Amazon. I'm going to put a link down in the description so you can find one for yourself. If you do any kind of steel work and you're cutting things on the regular, this thing is a game changer. I used to use my horizontal bandsaw all the time. This thing is so much faster and easier and more accurate. Hands down, really love this machine, and I have cut thousands of pieces of steel, and it's still the original blade that came with it, if that gives you any indication of quality. So definitely highly recommend the chop saw, the Evolution chop saw, or any chop saw. I'm sure there's a bunch out there. This has got the actual chop blade on it. It's not like a grinding blade. Some of them they sell at big box stores have like some sort of a rotary disc that's in there, like a big cutoff wheel. I highly suggest this, actually. This is much more different. But anyway, so what we're going to do is we're going to cut each piece, and how I figured out how long those pieces are going to be. There's 12 total pieces, 4 99s, 4 33s, and 4 16s. I actually drew this up in Fusion, and I know that sounds like maybe a little bit of an overkill, but I like to draw up these pieces. Any type of simple drawing in there will help me manage kind of perspective and lines and also functionality. And the more you use Fusion or any other CAD software, you're going to find out how awesome it is to actually see it on the screen in 3D and kind of get a feel for it before you actually build it. It saves time, money, and resources. So highly suggest Fusion 360. That's what I use to design the Revolution grinder. It's just a super powerful piece of software from Autodesk. So anyway, yep, we cut everything out, and now we got it moving. We're going to get ready for layout and start welding. Okay, so we laid out this piece here on the floor. It's the best and easiest way to do this, for me anyway. I don't have a fabrication table yet. Hopefully I will. Using these simple, cheap red magnets. I get these from Harbor Freight or Amazon or whatever. We squared it all up, and the best way to determine if a frame like this is square is to just simply measure from one corner to the other, and if those, remember that number. In this case, it's 38.5, and then we're going to do the exact same thing on this side, and it is 38.5. So we know that our frame is somewhat square. And so, yeah, that's the best way to do this. Tacks on the inside 4 corners, both sides, flip it over, do the same thing, and then we will get to work on the second piece. Okay, so real quick, we've got these tacked up now. I've got 2 of these tacked up. I am going to put this on casters. These are industrial casters. They don't have any plastic on them. They're rated for an enormous amount of weight. I don't exactly know how much, but I have my mill set on them. I have other really heavy things on them. I'll put a link down. I just get them on Amazon, honestly, and they are the best casters I have found. They're not quiet, and because they're hard, that means whatever you roll it on, it's not going to be like a soft roll. But what I'll say is, over the years, casters have a way of deteriorating the plastic, the rubber outer coating, and then that leads to failure. And if one fails and the other 4 don't, or other 3 don't, then you've got an issue where a machine could topple or something. These are awesome. The other thing we need to do is we need to grab the plasma table. We need to cut out some brackets. I do weld my casters on, and I'm going to do that in this case. I know that's frowned upon in some circles, but I don't really care. I'm not going to take this thing apart, and these casters are like, I don't know, $30 for a set of 4. So, I'm going to weld them on, but I need some plates to go onto this before I do that. So we'll burn some of those out on the plasma table. We'll weld them into place, and then we can finish the rest of the frame. So now that we got these all burned out on the Langmuir Systems Crossfire Pro plasma table, we're going to use the Revolution with a contact wheel to deburr the edges. This is one of my favorite ways to deburr. It's quick, it's easy, and painless. All right, so we got everything deburred. And now I'm just gonna eyeball these caster plates and weld them onto the bottom of this, and then we will weld the casters to those plates. That gives some extra rigidity and strength. 1/4-inch plate is totally not necessary for this application. However, I did have a bunch of scrap, so I figured, hey, let's use it, not waste it. Okay, so now it's time to put the long 99-inch beams across here, and I'm using these, you know, the red magnets. But you really can't rely on this short span from these little tiny magnets. They're only about 4 inches in either direction. So I grab a 12 by 12 speed square. It's going to get you right where you need to go. You want to put that in place so you can check for square. And then you also want to check for square this way. This is super important because one little minor change in this direction equates to quite a long change down at the very end. So you really want to try to get this as close as possible. Again, I will be putting tacks in this first and then measuring everything again and then probably banging things into place, into square, and then, you know, kind of going from there. But yeah, it's not rocket science. Take your time when you're building just tube steel frame stuff like this. It's in my head for something like this, it's not super important that everything is perfect. You're not going to really know or notice, but you should get it close because there might be a time when you are fabricating something that you really want it to be perfect. And you know what? This is a great time to learn those skills. All right, I sort of finished my welds. Looks like I missed one here. So I'll come back and finish that one. But I'm going to make some corner brackets. These are going to be just simple, you know, 90-degree brackets with holes, maybe 2 holes in each one for each one of these 4 corners. And that's just going to hold this tabletop down. The simplest way to do that is throw it into Fusion, draw it up real quick. We're going to put a quarter radius on the inside, outside, inside, 90, and then burn it out on the table, weld it in place, and then we're going to set that big piece of red oak on top of this table. Okay, so we got all 4 corner brackets installed. I'm just going to clean up these welds a little bit. Sometimes I'm a better grinder than I am a welder. And that being said, I buy all my abrasives from Empire Abrasives. They sell flap discs, 2x72 belt grinder belts. They sell just about anything you can think of in the abrasive world. And they have supported my work here. And not only have they supported my work, but they provide me with really awesome, long-lasting abrasives. Use the promo code HOUSEWORK at checkout and get 10% off your first order, empireabrasives.com. Also, I bought a fork truck. Meet Atlas. Uh-oh. Okay, so just one more thing that I want to add to this rolling workbench is I've got a bunch of parts here that I kind of prefabbed up. This is 1.5-inch tube steel, 1/4-inch wall. This is 2-inch tube steel with the seam removed. I drilled and tapped a hole. These are the knobs that we use on the Revolution. You can buy these on the website, housemade.us, and make your own knobs for whatever project. They're 3/8, 16 thread. And so really what I want to do is I want to take this old vise. I got this old vise on eBay for $40. It was a guy who was actually kind of local. He was in Tampa. And I just love it a lot. It says Simplex Utility number 100 on it. It's got really great patina. You can tell it was used. So I'm just in love with these old vices. So if you know anything about this company, Desmond Steffen Company, let me know in the comments. I have no idea. I looked it up. There's not a lot out there. There are other ones out there like this, but not a lot of information on them. I went ahead and cut a plate out on the plasma cutter to hold this on these things here. So this is going to mount to the side of the uprights here, and then this piece is going to slide inside of this and act as a mount so that we will fab this up, and it'll go up like this, and then that plate will go on the top, and this will hold this vise. And this is a concept that I have actually been working on for quite some time in other applications. So if you can think about, you know, building bases for things, you know, putting things together like this where you could potentially create something even bigger. You could put a bench grinder on this. Even if you beefed it up enough, you could probably put a Revolution on it as long as the table could hold it. So these are all concepts that I've been working out in my mind and working on for new welding cart. And I think that in the future you'll see more of this. And the reason is because I'm trying to come up with concepts that work for people in small spaces. You know, so if you have a small work table and you want to be able to swap out your tooling, what's better than a receiver and a tube and an arm? And then you could take this and, you know, go, you know, hang it on a ceiling or put it under a workbench, and then it's not in your way when you're trying to do other tasks. I'm really happy with the way this workbench came out. Even though it's simple, I think it leaves a lot of room for additions, and I think building that little brace to hold up the vise, be thinking about all the different things you could do with something like that. A modular workspace. We could have receivers. You could do multiple receivers on one corner, and it kind of helps with setting yourself up to actually do a specific task. I'm excited to see what we can do with this in the future. This workbench is going to change how I do my workflow right here in the House-Made Industrials studio, and I hope you guys got something out of today's video. Now, if you did, I would appreciate it if you hit that like button and the subscribe button, and if you click that little bell, you'll get a notification every time I upload something to YouTube. There's many ways to support my channel, one of which you've already done, is watch these videos, like, comment, and subscribe. There's links down in the description for my Amazon store. You can go down there and you can see all the tools and supplies that I use right here in my workshop. And if you click through to those links, you can buy some of those things, or if you buy anything at all, that supports my channel. I get a little bit of a kickback. Those are affiliate links from Amazon. There's Patreon, there's Buy Me a Coffee, there's all that fun stuff. By far the best way to support me is to go to my website, housemade.us, buy pieces, parts, and plans for the Revolution 2x72. You will find quickly that that is probably one of the most important tools you will have in your workshop. Thanks again for watching, guys. I hope to see you on the next video. My name is Brian House, and this has been House Made.